coming from the second panel where you had a very vivid discussion about the British colonies and the French colonies, for example. We are now focusing our discussion on the German colonies with representatives and guest speakers from Togo. From Togo, we have Oniko Mawuse-Tofa. Our guest speaker from Cameroon will be Shiynyuy Semaiy. And our guest speaker from Tanzania will be Caroline Mutahamawila Mchome. I would like to introduce our first speaker of this panel, Mr. Gatt. Mr. Gatt is an activist and Pan-Africanist and a facility manager. He is a native of the Nso people from North Cameroon in the Grassfield region. His presentation will elaborate the significance of the figure of Ngonso. Ngonso was the founder of the Nso dynasty in Cameroon. The figure was smuggled out of its hiding, and it's now in Germany, in the Ethnological Museum. Please welcome Mr. Gatt.
Dear conference organizers, dear conference participants, I feel honored to be part of this event on sacred objects and human remains in Berlin collection. I stand here on the capacity of the Ngonso, representing the entire people of Nso tribe in Cameroon. My name is Shiynyuy Semaiy, a true native of Nso, residing here in Berlin. Well, I'm not here alone. I've been accompanied by some dignitaries from this same tribe also. With me is the president of the Nso Development and Cultural Association, Shiynyuy Stephen Zerman wife, all the way from Cameroon. Also is Sa Joyce Yaya, a native of Nso residing here in Berlin. Thank you. I decide to title this presentation, The Plight of the Ngonso. The Plight of the Ngonso. First, I would like to brief you people on who the Nso people are. The Nso are a group of people located in the Bamenda grass fields in the northwest region of Cameroon. They are descendants of the Tikas and have kept a jealous tradition over the centuries. It should be noted that most of what is known about the Nso history is passed down through oral tradition, through the act of music that recounts the stories of the ancestors and their feats. Stories passed down from one generation to another. There is an interesting literature that also highlights the great moments of the Nso history. With the arrival of the Ngonso from the land of the Tikas and her subsequent settlement in what is today known as Nso. Now, the Ngonso and the birth of a dynasty. If we are here, it is because of the Ngonso, a legendary figure that holds a place of great significance and what awakes sentiments of reverence, awe, admiration, and devotion in the minds of every Nso man. The Nso oral tradition and act traced a brilliant journey undertaken by the founders of the tribe, moving through Mbonso, Nzonso, Kovifum, Tavisa, to finally settle in Kimbo. The oral tradition depicts the Ngonso as a woman of great courage and fortitude, traveling with her brothers. Oral tradition, historians and archaeologists maintain that the Tika originated from the northern eastern part of Cameroon, the region that covers Adamawa and Lake Chad, with the rates for slaves by the invading Fulani from northern Nigeria. The migration of the Tikas intensified in the 18th and 19th centuries. The Tikas found population of people who had already migrated from other places. This is how the Ngonso happened to be in the part of the Bamenda grass fields that is today known as Nso. As founders of the Nso tribe, she has been at the center of what is sacred to the Nso people. Because of the devotion and the veneration that the inhabitants had for her, a statue of her was made and strategically placed at the Nso Palace, that is the Nso, as a symbol of Nso history. But this statue, the original statue of the woman whose life burnt into the memories of her descendants, has been cut off and stolen, and every hand points to the Germans. And not without reason, because she is here in Germany, stolen by the Germans, estimated around the 1900 to 1910, when they looted the Nso Palace before their departure from Nso. That statue happens to be right here in Germany, in Berlin, in the Entomological Museum in Dahlem-Dorf. I'll show you photos of the statue as I visited the Entomological Museum 2 years ago. That is the Ngonso in the Entomological Museum in Dahlem-Dorf. It is rather unfortunate that it is not more in exhibition, so I had to make a private demand for it directly from the basement to see it. Every son and daughter of the Nso dynasty has wondered why the Ngonso is in a foreign land. The details of the looting could be found in a German publication, the Deutsches Colonialblatt of 15 March 1909. Now, what does the Ngonso's absence mean to the Nso people? Every year, the Nso people host festivities commemorating the life of their founder. This is usually called the Ngonso Cultural Festival. I'll show you some few videos on how the Ngonso Cultural Festival is usually celebrated in Nso.
You where? You where? No, but that's the man. Aye. No, that's the thing. Aye. We are mama un. Come to Kingo. We are mama un. Aye. You where? You where? Aye. Ayo mama un. Ayo mama un. You where? Aye. Ayo mama un. Yo dragon setting. Yo dragon setting.
Okay, now with Ngonso residing in a foreign land, it could mean that Ngonso origin and heritage are in a foreign land as well. They have been called by the Ngonso nobles, traditional rulers, and the intelligentsia to have the statue return to where it once was, to her rightful place. Repeated calls have been made to the Ministry of Art and Culture, requesting the return and restoration of the statue of Ngonso. During the 2007 closing ceremony of the 2006 Ngonso Cultural Festival, the Ngonso voice was re-echoed again through the president of NSODA, that is the Ngonso Development and Cultural Association, to the Minister of Arts and Culture to help Ngonso through cultural policy and diplomacy to return Ngonso. She is the symbol of fertility, of nobility, of courage, and the values that define every son and daughter of Ngonso. Being stolen and housed in a foreign museum implies that the soul of the Ngonso people has been robbed and kept far away from home. We are here today to make the call that thousands of sons and daughters of Ngonso are making today, the call for the restoration of Ngonso to her rightful place. Thank you all for coming, and thank you all for listening. Have a wonderful day.